Hi there, welcome back to Headband Fitness. Thanks so much for stopping by again. Veganism and fitness. First off, I believe it's totally possible to be a vegan bodybuilder. I also think it's possible to be a healthy vegan. 30 plus years ago, you'd be hard pressed, but today's day and age, first world country, totally feasible. Now, personally, I don't have anything against vegans themselves. If someone wants to severely limit what they will eat for whatever reason, I will always support their right to do so. I, for one, am so thankful for the privilege to pick and choose what I eat every single day, and also how much I eat every single day. It's such a rare blessing in this world. And if someone else wants to take their similar privilege to only eat plant-based foods, not my business, no problem. It becomes my business when these people act morally superior, trying to make me out to be some kind of villain and want to have me immediately change to be just like them to make them happy. That I have a problem with. This type of self-righteous narcissism ran rampant in 2020 and 21. So many people chose to self-isolate, wear masks everywhere, and sign up for an experimental vaccination. And I always supported their right to choose all of those things. Sadly, most of these people did not offer that same support to me. In fact, most of these people wanted to see me forced to do the exact same things they were doing to make them happy. Self-righteous narcissism. Not all vegans, but a lot of vegans are full of self-righteous narcissism, especially if it involves faith. Now, I grew up in and out of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I do have a few friends who still attend those churches, people I have a lot of respect for. While I attended those churches, I was frequently surrounded by vegans and healthy people. Now, these two did not always go hand in hand. One vegan couple in particular had a whole slew of health problems. Super sad too. They were only like late 40s, early 50s. I'm not judging. People come down with health crises for whatever reason. At one point, the husband was so sick. He was like bedridden and required borderline round-the-clock treatment. The wife just couldn't keep up. So the pastor of their church took this man into his home for a few weeks to nurse him back to health. That's a pretty saintly thing to do. You're probably not going to see me doing this unless it's for immediate family. One day the wife goes over to visit her husband and she's picking through all the food. The pastor's feeding her husband and she gets to one loaf of bread in particular. Now, she didn't care that this loaf of bread was, like most American loaves of bread, extremely processed. But as she was reading through the ingredients, she gets to the part that says less than 2% of the following ingredients and she sees the word whey. And she lost her mind. She chewed that pastor up and down, was so angry. That kind of behavior has absolutely nothing to do with health and nothing to do with faith, but everything to do with a self-righteous, narcissistic religion. Two men from a different Seventh-day Adventist church once went on a missions trip to some remote village deep in a third world country. This lady and her family, literally dirt poor, brought these two men into her home, wanted to show them hospitality. She and her whole family skipped some meals the few days before these missionaries arrived. They worked exceptionally hard round the clock to provide them with bacon. She cooked up the bacon, served it to the men. Now, these two were vegans. Most likely never tasted any kind of animal product in their entire life. And the one missionary man just turned up his nose, like, no, I don't eat that, I'm a vegan, and took out a can of beans from his backpack and handed a can of beans to his buddy. His buddy, on the other hand, took the bacon from the lady and said, thank you so much, I really appreciate you, and ate with her. You could probably guess which of these two missionary men showed that lady more love. This is the whole point of following Jesus in this world, is to take his love and share it with pretty much everyone we can. And both of these men were missionaries. I mean, self-proclaimed preachers of Jesus. Both of them should have been the best in the business when showing love. Jesus said the most important thing for us to do is to love each other as he's loved us, to love our neighbor as ourselves. He didn't say anything about preaching and flaunting some stupid bullcrap, non-scriptural, man-made, self-righteous, narcissistic religion just because we're privileged enough to do so. Now, there are a lot of vegan influencers all over the internet. I've seen hundreds of vegan recipe shorts videos, and a few of them are actually pretty good. Like, I've made them myself, sometimes putting my own spin on them. More on that in a moment. But a lot of them just straight up crack me up. Like, okay, we're gonna start by melting some vegan butter in a pan, and then we're gonna add some vegan milk, and then we're gonna put in our vegan meat and finish it off with some vegan cheese. What's the point? Why would I willingly eat something that's more expensive, less healthy, higher processed, not as sustainable as the real thing? See, they're doing it to protect a vegan title. I don't care about a vegan title. I care about quality. If I'm looking at a recipe, how is this better than what's already existing? Some vegans have recommended I switch tofu out for my whey protein shakes in the morning. Use silken tofu as a protein source. They say, oh, silken tofu and tofu in general is an amazing protein source. You could do so much with it, which I actually agree. It's packed full of protein, and I actually have some pretty killer recipes, including tofu. I can make it taste good. However, I'm not gonna use tofu as my main protein source because there's a lot of controversy with estrogen levels in tofu. And vegans give me a hard time over that. Like, oh, no, that's not true. But you know what there's not conspiracy about? My whey protein powder and shakes. Okay, I'm not gonna change my life to make someone else happy. I'm not gonna do it. That said, there are two vegan influencers / entrepreneurs I follow on social media. Fit Green Mind and Jacob King. Now, these two have come up with a lot of recipes inspired by existing recipes containing animal products, but they're vegan versions, lower in fat, higher in protein, sometimes cheaper, and almost always taste just as good. Do you have any idea how much of a win that is from a fitness perspective? If you can find a way to tweak the foods you love to make them lower in fat, higher in protein, cheaper, and taste just as good, whoosh, you have an amazing winning formula. And these two, with some of their recipes, do this beautifully. I'll admit I cheat a little bit whenever their recipe calls for full-fat vegan yogurt. No, I'm using fat-free real yogurt. Remember, for me, lower in fat, higher in protein is the goal. But man, they come up with some killer recipes, and I have to give credit where it is due. One more thing. I'd say around 10, 15 years ago, being a vegetarian became synonymous with longevity. Vegetarians statistically live longer. And this doesn't mean all animal products are bad. It means the standard American diet is 50% bacon, 50% beer, and 50% potato chips. Yes, I know, that is 150%, because I would argue the average American eats 150% of what they need to survive. I would know, I'm an American, I love food, I overdo it all the time, I'm trying to be better. But 10, 15 years ago, vegetarians cared more about their health than the average American. There wasn't a lot of these vegan, vegetarian alternatives, highly processed garbage. It was just vegetarians ate more fruits, more veggies, more legumes, more healthy stuff. So, got to give credit where it's due there. Thanks so much for stopping by. Take care, God bless, and I'll catch you on the flip side.